What's going on YouTube? My name is Birdman778 and welcome to my first Devastator build video. I am so excited that Outriders is finally out and I'm able to do some of these featured builds for it. This build is a bleed / gravity leap focused build. It is very awesome. I have been doing a lot of damage with it. I'm able to do gold challenge tier 15 runs with it. It is absolutely cracked. So make sure you're going over to my Twitch channel where I'm more than likely streaming right now, starting every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/birdman778. I'm also on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok, all at birdman778. Let's get right into the video. So I mentioned that this is a bleed / gravity leap build. I think the most important thing to do is talk about armor first, because the armor is going to be what essentially synergizes with our mods and also the class specific ability that we get from one of our armor sets. That armor set is going to be the Seismic Commander set. I have one for my legs, my hands, and my boots. And that is going to give me an extra 50% damage towards bleeding targets. Again, this is a bleed build. We want that extra bleed damage as much as we can. That's going to come from gun damage. That's going to come from anomaly damage. That's coming from skills, everything. They're going to take more damage. On the top, we are using a helmet that's got anomaly power, skill life leech, and close range damage with blood shock. Blood shock inflicts bleed on enemies damaged by this skill. So this is going to really help us be able to constantly inflict bleed on the battlefield to all of our enemies. Earthquake has a pretty long range as is, and especially when mobs are stacked on top of each other, we're going to be inflicting a lot of bleed and also a lot of damage as well. We also have blood boost on there. Boosts your damage against enemies afflicted by bleed by 15%. We want to stack up as many bleed mods as we can, just constantly doing more and more damage towards bleed inflicted enemies. On our chest piece, we have anomaly power, close range damage, and healing received with extra quake. This skill can be activated one more time before triggering the cooldown. This is awesome because we're going to get multiple different earthquakes back to back to back. One will essentially inflict bleed and do damage, and then the other one is going to do extra damage on top of that because the enemies are inflicted with bleed. We also have damage absorber on there as well. Increase your armor by 52,000 and your resistance by 10%. Now, obviously, those percentages are going to change depending on your level and stuff like that. But this is really great for Devastators in the fact it's going to make you a little bit more tanky, especially when you're in battlefield during those like weird times where you might not have any abilities to get healing back up, or other enemies might not be ready to kill. For our Seismic Commander legs, we have anomaly power, status power, and cooldown reduction with the tier 3 mod Tainted Blood. Now this one is huge because this is going to add another 25% damage towards bleed inflicted enemies. This one specifically comes with the Seismic Commander legs. Now you notice the other one is another tier 3 mod. This one is called Double Jump. Skill can be used twice before triggering the cooldown. This comes from the Marshall set, which is another Devastator specific armor set. This one will come from the legs, I believe. Unfortunately, I do not remember at all which one this came from. I deleted them all at the same time and got this mod, but I do believe it comes from the legs. But this is going to be amazing because it's going to synergize really well with another ability that we're going to have down here below. Next, we have the Seismic Commander gloves with max health, status power, and skill leech. With the tier 3 mod, using the skill permanently reduces armor of afflicted enemies by 20%. This is great because you're going to be able to constantly stack that, especially on like things like brood mothers, behemoths, or captains. And then we also have earthquake increases skills damage by 84,000. Obviously, the number's going to change depending on what it is, but we're just going to be doing more damage with that earthquake. And then finally, we have the Seismic Commander foot gear with max health, status power, and skill life leech. With second quake, the skill can be activated one more time before triggering the cooldown. So we're going to essentially get 3 earthquakes back to back to back. And then the other one is Despair. It's a tier 3 mod for Gravity Leap. Enemies within a damage radius of Gravity Leap will receive a 1.5 times more anomaly damage for 5 seconds. This is amazing because we're going to get 2 Gravity Leaps back to back, and it's going to increase that damage enemies are going to receive within that area. This is perfect for, again, those brood mothers, behemoths, those big beefy enemies, so you're able to do a lot of damage in a short window. And again, that will stack back to back, so you're able to do a lot of damage. For our weapons, I have a SMG here that's got Storm Whip on it. I think Storm Whip is one of the best weapon mods that you can have right now. Ideally, I would have the Ultimate Storm Whip, which is a tier 3 mod, but I don't have that at this moment, but it's still pretty effective. And it's really great on this Juggler. Juggler is a legendary assault rifle. This one has armor piercing, skill life leech, and close range damage. With Scrap Grenade, the first shot after reload becomes an anomaly projectile, dealing 226,000 damage in a 5-meter radius. Essentially, it's a grenade that gets shot out and does a bunch of damage. Again, this is going to go great with that Despair Gravity Leap ability, so you're able to do a bunch of damage on that first shot. You can essentially shoot it, reload, and then shoot it again, and that will happen again. So this is great, again, for those big, beefy enemies. And I also have Storm Whip on this, so that I'm able to just constantly, during those normal just rounds of shooting, do some extra damage on top of that. Here's a quick look at my stats. I have my average item level at 50. Again, this entire build can do CT15 gold solo. Doesn't matter which one it is. Maybe either Storm, it might not be able to do it, but it's able to do a lot of different content. This is the Devastator build right now. When it comes to our skills, we're going to use Earthquake, Tremor, and Gravity Leap. Reason why we use Earthquake is we get those multiple stacks to inflict bleed. Reason why we use Tremor, it's going to be more of a healing for our self ability while able to do some damage in an area of effect around us. We're not going to have any mods to help this out, but honestly, the ability itself is going to do us a lot of good. And then finally, Gravity Leap, because we get those multiple uses of it and a lot of damage. Going into our skill tree, this is a all bottom tree build. We are obviously going to make sure we're stacking to every single one of these anomaly reservoirs, because we're going to get 6% extra anomaly power on top of all of those, and it's going to just really help out our Gravity Leap, our Earthquake, and our Tremor, and any anomaly damage we're doing in general in the build. We want to make sure we get the cooldowns for Endless Tremor here and here, so we're able to get that seismic abilities cooldown faster, that being Tremor and Earthquake. We have one as well for our Gravity Leap, the Perpetual Motion. We want to go into both of these pure anomalies, so we're getting 15% extra resistance piercing on both of those, so essentially 30 stacked. We're getting all of the red rivers, so these are going to increase bleed duration by 30%, so it's going to turn to 60%. We're going to get both of the bloodbaths here and here. Bleed afflicted on enemies deals 30% more damage, so again, more damage to bleed infected enemies. And then here are the kind of the kicker skills that are going to really help you out. First off, blood donation. You're healed for 25% of the bleed damage. Now, again, you're going to be inflicting a lot of bleed onto all these enemies around you, so you're going to be healed pretty consistently, like almost the entire time you are being healed up. If you aren't being healed by bleed, there's something weird going on at that moment. This is going to be one of the strongest trees for Devastator throughout the rest of the game. Again, this is already able to CT15 content, do gold. It's amazing. You need to use this. We're also going to use Protected by the Anomaly, increase our armor by 40% of our anomaly power. We already have a pretty high anomaly power, so this is going to just boost us up even more, make us that tank that we really need to be. Skilled Sentry, increase armor by 20% and resistances by 20% for 10 seconds when your skill ends. This is going to stack after using Earthquake. Hitting the ground and using it is a skill ending. Like, it will stack up. It is super great because you will become that tank. You're going to notice right above your health bar, you're going to constantly have that extra resistance and extra armor added onto you because of this skill. And then finally, Earth's Heritage, increase seismic skills by 50%. This is obviously amazing because this build overall is really big into just using your abilities to do a lot of damage, so this is going to add on to it. First off, Tremor is just going to do a little bit more damage on top of that. You really don't need the damage from Tremor. You're more looking for the skilled life leech that it's going to be doing, but the biggest one obviously being Earthquake. You have 3 stacks that you can use back to back to back and do a bunch of damage to enemies, whether it is a Broodmother, whether it's a Rifleman, whether it's that tiny little Spiderling. It's going to absolutely annihilate them. Thank you so much for stopping by my first Devastator video. I'm so glad I was able to pick this character and actually find a build that worked for them. Devastator's really been struggling for the fact that it does not have anomaly related bullets in its tree. Technomancer, Trickster, and Pyro all have anomaly related rounds that really help carry them throughout the game. So the fact that I found a build that doesn't have to rely on that and really pushes you towards that CT15 gold solo, all that stuff, I'm relieved. I'm so excited to keep on using this. Again, I'm streaming over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Birdman778. Again, check me out on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok, all at Birdman778. Thank you so much for stopping by this video. I hope you have a great night, day, whatever it may be.